Topic 3. We're going to talk about the new Netflix series featuring prominently, like in every episode, IU, which is Persona.
You never
It's a
see
cover
it
of the
coming.
game series. It's a cover of the video
Yeah,
game
everything's
series.
Persona
Cover
this
the
week.
video
Freaking Map of the Soul
Yep.
Persona,
BTS.
IU Persona.
Yep.
Like in the title of the video, I have to put I'm probably gonna have to put IU Persona just because there's gonna be a lot of, or else you're never gonna find the
Oh
video.
yeah, two
Just do
topics called
Netflix
Persona.
Netflix Persona IU sort of thing. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be the one leading this topic because I don't know. I've done nothing else this week. This topic. So IU
Yes.
Persona. So this is a short film project that IU participated in, where 4 different directors did 4 different short skit type things, starring IU. I guess sort of as a deeper look into the persona of IU. As a person, I don't know. IU is a weird hipstery person, so it's not surprising that she's participating in something like this. Also, IU is definitely she's a tenured actor at this point. She's been in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, she's done a lot of dramas and stuff.
Yeah, she's literally, I think she got cast in a drama this year, possibly, or last year she was cast in a drama. Which kind of got controversy because I feel because she's 25 and her love interest was 43. But I mean, that's kind of a normal thing in Korea, unfortunately. Anyway, so we're gonna start off with the first episode or first short, which was entitled Love Set. So I guess sort of the premise of this. I'll just intro it and I'll let you guys go first. The premise of Love Set is IU is in a heated tennis match between her and her English teacher over the affection of her dad, or she doesn't want her to marry her dad and that sort of thing. So it's this intense tennis match type of setup as the scenario. So what were your guys' thoughts? I guess we can start with Nate.
I thought this was easily the worst one.
Oh yeah, by far. This one sucked.
This one
I didn't
is
think it
not
sucked.
good.
I thought it was interesting.
I thought, well, okay, first of all, it started off with a bad note because the audio balance was horrible with the tennis screaming. Then when she says something in English to the random white guy that shows up that has no purpose in the story, he's completely useless.
It has no subtitles as well.
It has no subtitles. But it's so quiet compared to the grunting that I had to turn it up really loud to hear what she said, but then the grunting was insanely loud. So audio balance was garbage. But beside the point, the story and just in general was non-existent and kind of dumb, and it was basically just a giant 20-minute episode to show off IU sweating a bunch.
Hell yeah.
There's so many weird slow motion shots of their backs and legs and their faces just sweating super zoomed in. It was ridiculous. Also, who wears a long sleeve sweater when you're playing tennis when it's clearly hot outside?
That's
is that a thing?
It's an older. It's a throwback.
It's
tennis look.
older. I know, but
that's what they used to wear in
it's
the early days of tennis.
2019,
I mean, it's IU. She likes dressing up nice, so it's not surprising that she wants to look fancy even when she's playing tennis.
Yeah, but I guess what I got out of this was it seemed like it was supposed to be a story of determination winning against all odds because IU is really bad at tennis compared to the teacher or whatever, but she's just keeps trying to win. But really it just seemed like a bratty kid who hated her dad's girlfriend and forced them to break up because she's selfish. That's what I got out of this overall. And then the white dude played absolutely no part in the story and had no business being there.
So to me, I didn't take it at face value. For me, it was seemed more like an allegory.
Yeah, definitely an allegory.
It was an allegory of a child and her parents are divorced and her dad is dating her teacher and she doesn't want them to obviously that stuff can be taken at face value, but like the tennis match when the teacher was playing against her dad and the grunting, I think that was supposed to be her overhearing them having sex.
Yeah. But I mean, there are people like that in tennis, though. there are people there have actually been discussions on banning grunting in tennis just because it's so distracting to some degree. Because I mean, some people aren't as bad as it with it, but like if you ever hear like Maria Sharapova play, it sounds like ah. Or I mean, like even some guy like some like or like Djokovic, he's like ugh, like when he goes like when he gets like really into it. But I mean, nothing you can do, I guess.
But also like as soon as IU starts playing, you can tell like she's kind of like taking the piss out of the other woman playing. Like she's like imitating her. She's like ah! Like she's doing it like way like overly.
When she
like,
plays against her dad,
like,
and her dad says like, "Don't
Stop
make those weird noises
around
with
like,
other guys
playing
strange
tennis
men."
with a guy."
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the white guy is supposed to be her like just being rebellious, I guess.
Yeah.
Also, I remember her like just screaming like "What the fuck" or something.
Oh yeah,
you.
said fuck you.
Yeah, IU dropping an F-bomb is.
Like,
I believe the
that's
term
going
is
to become
called
a meme.
scare
Like as soon as
arousal.
I saw that,
I believe it.
as soon as I saw that,
you're both scared and aroused at the same time by IU yelling at you.
yeah. As soon as I saw that, I was like, that's gonna become a meme. I know it is.
Yeah. So anyone in the Discord, make an IU fuck you gif, please.
Yeah.
Was that all, Jacob? Or
Yeah, pretty much. I just took it as like it was like 2 of the episodes were lighthearted and 2 of them were very serious. This is one of the lighthearted ones.
yeah.
So.
I think just to sort of like sum up my feelings on this, it's definitely a short or this episode definitely kind of sacrificed substance for aesthetic, because I one of the things I did like was
the cinematography was awesome.
Yeah, the cinematography was awesome. I'd say like one of the parts was how they incorporated cinematography into calling back in parts of the story. Like the screenshot I have here is IU and the white guy like going back and forth, like looking back and forth when the English teacher, who's played by Duna, and the dad are just playing tennis. They call back to that shot when Duna and IU are playing their tennis match between the dad and the white guy, just looking back and forth. They make the almost the exact same shot. So I love the cinematography choices here. Also, just like they pull back in some parts when like there's just watching, just I guess to sort of like signify how insignificant they are at that moment, or just like to see like I guess there's a bigger picture. So I like that part of the cinematography. There's almost no exposition though. Like there's almost no like the entire exposition is literally IU saying, "Seduce my English teacher and I'll go out with you." That's literally like the only thing that she said of any consequence, other than like at the end like the English teacher's like, "Oh, I'm not gonna go out with your dad." So I guess what they're trying to sort of showcase with this, I feel like, is there's sort of a duality to IU's character in that at one point she's like literally like jumping on her dad's back, playing like the innocent daddy's girl, but at the same time she has like ulterior motives and trying to literally get someone to seduce like her English teacher. I like how they sort of showed the progression or like the intensity of the match. Like there's IU literally like it scrapes bruises, like she has blood trailing down her leg the entire towards the end.
For a tiny knee scrape, she bled a lot. Why? She's like,
well, hey, I mean,
bleeding
I think
all
they're
down
playing.
her leg.
They're playing
like
on hardcore.
Giant, like, yeah.
They're playing on
I don't
hardcore,
know.
which
It was just
hard
funny.
like I've played on hardcore before, and yeah, if you it's not as forgiving as grass or clay is. Like hardcore like hurts like hell. But I mean, yeah, I'd say this was probably the least memorable. Like literally, the only thing I can remember is like, wow, IU looks good. Like that's I don't like the actual story.
I feel
of
like
it.
that was the whole point.
That's
of
the whole
story.
point of
the
this.
Dude was like, "Oh, I just want to make a short where IU's playing tennis and she's in like a tight sweater and a skirt."
Yep,
That's
I think
all
that.
I want.
Yeah,
Like,
I feel like this one
you're-
had the least amount of substance of all of them. So
Yeah.
which kind of
there
sucks
was-
because it's definitely, I feel like this was the one that was kind of advertised the most, if anything. So
Yeah. It did give me the weird like just like throwback sensation because I took tennis in Korea. So like, I was just like played in court like that. Just like a fenced in court out in the middle like that. So it was just like weird sensation, but other than that I thought overall it was not very good.
Yeah.
next we have the second short entitled Collector. So the premise of this is the main character, I forget his name, the other guy.
I don't know. Did they ever say his name? Oh no, yeah, Jungwoo.
Baek Jung-woo is the name of the character. He's meeting up. He's meeting up with his girlfriend, played by IU. Definitely talking about like secrets and definitely attention to the entire short. So, I mean, I don't want to spoil it just yet because this story was fucking awesome. But I want to get your thoughts on the whole thing.
This one was
you don't want to
spoil
spoil
This
it?
one was.
I mean, I want to see what you guys think about it. No, like we can spoil it definitely. Like that's the thing.
Okay.
Either
Like,
this one or the last one is my favorite. I'm not sure which. I think maybe the last one I like a little bit more, but only for cinematography reasons. But even in this, like the way they handled like the timeline in this one, I thought was really interesting. Maybe not the timeline, but like kind of the way like certain points are like inside his head, and he's like almost like hallucinating a little bit, and like IU, her acting in this was amazing. Like
This is the best short in terms of acting.
Yeah. Like she like the character she's playing is like it like honestly like scared me a little bit. I was like, what the hell is like wrong with her? I'd say it's hard to talk about this one without spoiling things.
I mean, you can spoil it. You can spoil it.
Okay, because like okay. So basically, people, if you're at this point and you haven't seen it, just go watch it first. It's like 30 minutes long. Just watch it.
It's not
this
even,
episode.
Yeah, 25.
Yeah, it's like 25 minutes. Like the guy, he's like sitting there and he's asking her questions because apparently she just like left all of a sudden and went on a vacation with her male friends. Yeah. And he was like
getting worried,
trying his best not to be jealous, and she's kind of like not being very considerate towards him. And I think the main part where I started to be like on the guy's side, because at first, like when it starts out, I'm like, why is this dude being so like overly nosy? Yeah, like because I didn't realize that she like went on a trip with like her with a bunch of guys.
Yeah, you said it was 10 days.
10 days.
Left for 10 days.
Yeah, she just left. Yeah, like at first I thought, oh, she just went on a vacation with her friends, whatever, who cares? But no, like she just left without saying anything. So that's, but like in the scene in the cafe where they're like kind of like on a date talking, like that's where I like started to be on the guy's side. I was like, oh, I see what's happening here now. Like he was like actually trying to have like at first when he was talking about like how he believes God is a woman or something like that, like I thought he was just saying shit to make her like him. But like then when you see her just like on her phone like texting some other guy at the same time, I'm like, oh, I see what's happening. Like he's putting in effort trying to talk to her, and then she's just like kind of ignoring him, I guess, and like not even giving him her attention. And then also, all right, so I guess at this point I'm just summarizing stuff, but one thing I really enjoyed was like the part where like the white room where like it's kind of like his headspace and he's having like hallucinations, like seeing his ex-fiance like and like things like that, and like revealing things about the story that way. I thought that was really awesome and cool. And also like the reveal at the end, like what was inside the box that she gave him.
Yeah.
Like I still don't quite understand what was going on there, but yeah, it was cool.
Nate?
Yeah, for me, so yeah, this starts out as like just like, okay, here's a horrible relationship story where there's this carefree girl who's cheating on her boyfriend and like doesn't really care about the relationship and leading him on. But yeah, then it does. I like the stuff with like what's inside of his head was cool. It was he's like talking to his ex-girlfriend and like, why'd you broke up our engagement to be with this girl and she clearly doesn't care about you or whatever.
Yep.
So like it gets a little weird in there, but like you're like, okay, this is inside of his head, so like it makes sense. And then like the ending is just like, okay, I use this weird succubus who like forces men to rip out their hearts for
She literally is a succubus.
Literally.
She's a succubus, yeah, it's what she is. It's so weird though, like where it's they're just in this weird creepy bar with no one in it.
Yeah.
And she's like, you're boring, like do something amazing for me. And he literally rips out his heart and gives it to her.
She feels an Indiana
Jones. She puts it in a jar, and she writes his name. She asks him what his name is. She doesn't even know his name.
Yeah, his name.
Even
or
though
she
they've been
forgets.
dating.
She's very forgetful.
She forgets his
like,
name.
oh, what's your name again? Like, yeah, she's very nonchalant about like.
And then she puts it in her bag, and you see there's like other hearts in there with other names on the jars. It's like, oh, okay, so she's a succubus. Like, okay, this is weird.
And I think
it was decent, but it was weird.
She played that role perfectly. I feel like this is where I feel just
that was the acting. This was
her acting in here was incredible.
It's like Jacob, were you the other one? Did you say this was? But you liked this more than the last one?
No,
so
Jacob liked
it was between this one and the last one.
Jacob
but I think the last one
better.
edges it out a little bit more.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. The last one's my favorite, but this is probably my second favorite.
No, this was easily my favorite, just because I'm a really big fan of stuff like the Twilight Zone or is like really weird shit like this.
Yeah, this is definitely like very Stephen King Twilight Zone.
Yeah, it's got that whole like even the cinematography choices they use, and like the imagery and like the grotesque nature of this short it's very surrealist in that sort of way, like the whole white hospital bedroom type of thing. It's like the sunken place in like Get Out or something like that, or like when he's literally cuts his head off, or like just sort of like as allegory or just like visual like representation of just like the way he's feeling, him literally pulling out his heart. Just like the imagery that they use in here is very much along the lines of those things, like, or just like the concept of him just like sort of playing out these events in his head, that sort of way. It's very Evangelion-esque in like literally at the end of Evangelion, like not the end of Evangelion the movie, but like the last few episodes of Evangelion are literally just because they ran out of a budget, so it's literally just like Shinji being like, what's wrong with me, like in like a white like background and everything. So it's kind of like got that thing going for it. The funny thing is this short is almost exactly the opposite of Love Set, where it's almost entirely exposition. Like almost all of it is just exposition in terms of like how they move the and progress the plot.
It's just them sitting and
talking. It's just them sitting and talking, and I like that aspect of it. The background music is definitely a lot more ambient. Definitely adds like that tension as opposed to using an actual like score. Like you mentioned, Nate, that sort of misdirection, like making you think it's like your standard melodrama of a love story and turns into like straight up like a horror tale. Like she's like this succubus type thing. Also, the thing I really liked is the box, while it's a MacGuffin, like for those that don't know, like sort of literary or just like screenwriting terms, a MacGuffin is like an object that becomes the sort of driving force of the plot, or like famous MacGuffins is like, I don't know, like Sorcerer's Stone, think of something like that, where like that's the entire like focus of the story. So the box that she gives him is a MacGuffin, but they don't make the entire story just about what's in the box. If anything,
you're like reminded of it.
I forgot about it until he
remember there was a box.
Yeah, I forgot about it
like,
until the very
end. When I'm not here, and I was like, okay, it's just like a present. She bought him from traveling, and then I forget about it like almost immediately.
Yeah, so I think that's a good way to go about having a MacGuffin, is like make it make the audience forget about it until the very end when you like spring it on them, and it has more of an impact than if you just constantly remind them of its existence. That monologue that again Jacob you mentioned about him seeing woman as God, it's almost comes to fruition in a way, in that like he thinks of woman as God, and IU is like this godlike person that literally rips his fucking heart out and everything, like that, like it all ties in together in that sort of way. So I think there was so much more depth to this story than Love Set had. So like this is easily my favorite short. I'd be so down with IU just starring in like a Twilight Zone like weird as hell like type of anthology
Persona Season
series.
2.
Yeah, because it's called Collection 1, which means we're definitely going to get Collection 2 at some point. I don't know if it's gonna have IU starring in it.
Or
different
different. It'd be kind of cool to do different actors or actresses, like focus on each set.
So
Next.
moving on, we're
Next
on
one.
to Kiss Burn.
So
To sort of, I guess, set up the premise of this short, IU's checking on her, I guess, schoolmate who skipped school, and she definitely did some interesting things in terms of
I think
going to the
this
beach.
one's less about.
Yeah.
I think this one's less about like a deeper meaning, but it's more about like the character development and the environment and stuff like that.
Hmm.
You're like go into like what you were saying before.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So basically, that's just the basic premise of it. She's checking up on her her schoolmate, and hilarity ensues.
So
Nate,
to me, like, although Love Set's my least favorite, I mean, I think Walking at Night and Collector are like way better than this one in Love Set. This one just honestly like felt more like a PSA than anything. Yeah, it was like, hey kids, pay attention more often. Don't smoke. Don't start forest fires intentionally or unintentionally.
Don't go to the beach and get
at a very bad time.
You don't know.
yeah, that's why they had to delay this.
Delayed because of the forest fires.
Yeah, there's a really bad forest fire in Eastern Korea. Where, like, a lot of people lost homes and everything, so they decided to delay the release of this from April 4th or 5th to April 11th out of like respect and courtesy for the people affected by the forest fires. But
basically it's just like two kids being delinquent kids and accidentally starting a forest fire, and I'm like, okay, this one definitely was like the least. I don't know. This one and Love Set really were just like, I just didn't really care about either of them that much.
Jacob?
Yeah, for this, for me, I thought what was best about it was like the dialogue and the characters.
Mm.
There was
like
good
especially like IU's friend in this. I think she's really interesting. Like you see this girl, like she has like, she can't contact her friend, and when she sees her, like her hair is like chopped off and she's got like hickeys all over her neck, and
those are some of the most intense hickeys I've ever seen. Like, it's not just like usually with hickeys, it's like, not that I know from experience, it's usually like a little like red mark or whatever, but this shit looks like bruises and everything.
Oh yeah, it looked like she was like punched in the neck.
Yeah, I'm just like, how hard was this dude sucking on your skin? Like, Jesus Christ.
It was a little crazy because like when they introduced her dad as being abusive, when I saw the hickeys and stuff, I thought maybe it was her dad who did it. I thank God it wasn't, because I was like, oh, that's gonna be this serious. I was like, damn. It's like, I don't know. It's like Jenny and Forrest Gump. Like, I thought it would be like that. But thank goodness. Yeah, like it was interesting. Like, she's just like, she doesn't even care. Like, she just goes to the beach and like makes out with this random guy
that she's never,
who I guess
doesn't know the name
is a
of.
delinquent from some random high school. Yeah, she doesn't even know his name, and she doesn't go to school. It's like interesting, I guess.
Mm-hmm. I'd say this is definitely the most K-drama of the shorts. Definitely,
really?
like.
I disagree with that.
Or no, like,
I think the next one is
like in terms of like what I feel like we get out of like lighthearted K-dramas.
This is like a lighthearted K-drama. The next one's like
serious. Yeah. Basically it's like a slice of life, like literally like anime type thing. Like it's even set out in the country. Like the musical score that they use for this definitely feels like a K-drama. And it's definitely it takes itself a lot less seriously than Collector did. Like, there's even like it's almost comical, like the way that they use like the zoom in shots at some point, like the zoom ins that they use for and like IU's like spying on the window or whatever, or just like IU's like literally camping out, and she has like this whole like thing of like fucking meat that she just like eating. Like, it's literally like in the package and everything, and like it's definitely a lot more lighthearted in that sense. I'd say the major theme of this would be, I guess, like they're trying to orchestrate revenge plots, but nothing works. Like they're trying to orchestrate the revenge plot on their So Daebak is the girl played by Shim Dagi. They're trying to orchestrate revenge on their dad because she cut Daebak's hair. He got drunk and cut her hair like really bad, so they wanted to get revenge on him. And they're doing all these like Home Alone type pranks that aren't working. And then there's a part where IU, who's smoking in this entire short, she says smoking would be like a form of rebellion. And when Daebak starts smoking, she accidentally sets like the chicken coop on fire. So literally like everything's going wrong, and it sets the forest on fire at the end. So I'd say like that's sort of the major theme of it, where like all of their attempts to sort of get revenge on various types of people just ended up in complete failure, which I thought was like a really like funny sort of thing. And there's like nice foreshadowing at the beginning because like again her dad, Daebak's dad is like he's a lookout for forest fires. You see like you see the sign on like the front of his truck that literally says be aware of forest fires or be careful of forest fires. That level of foreshadowing was a nice touch before you actually got into the climax of the story essentially. So I did enjoy the short, not as much as I did enjoy Collector. Maybe not as much as I enjoyed the next one, but we'll sort of get into that a bit. I did enjoy it overall still. And closing out the shorts, we have the last one called Walking at Night. The premise of this is just literally like a boyfriend and a girlfriend taking a stroll at night, talking about feelings, death, that sort of thing. So, Jacob, you said this was your favorite, so I guess you can start.
Yeah, this one's easily my favorite, and for the reason, like, being mostly the cinematography and then the way that they sort of reveal details about the story through the dialogue. Like, one thing I really love cinematography-wise is the way they used light. In particular, like, the part where they were, like, talking next to the table with the 2 glasses of wine at the restaurant they went to. Like the boyfriend seemed like he was going like in and out of consciousness a lot in his dream, and you could tell that through like when it was dark or when it was light.
Like
when he was more like stimulated, it was brighter, and then when he was sort of like kind of like dozing off, it was or like starting to wake up from being emotional, it would like turn black. And yeah, it's really interesting how they like also through the dialogue and the characters, how they like reveal that she's actually dead and this isn't a dream. And she's talking about like, I died, do you know why I died? And then like throughout the story, like it's revealed like she
committed suicide.
Like she committed suicide, and like she has to like console it to him like it's not your fault, you're always there for me. And it was very emotional for me, but I really enjoyed it because like even in just 20 minutes, like they really get you to really care about these 2 characters and make you want to know a lot. And I think the way they left it off, like you still want to know more, but I think you know enough that you can kind of like make your own conclusions yourself. So I think this one is easily the most like masterful of the 4.
So Nate, what are your thoughts?
Jacob ruined my entire set of notes because basically what he said. No, this is easily my favorite. And I think because, I thought this was the best of the 4 in terms of storytelling easily. It made me care the most about the story and the characters.
Yep.
And I think this will be, I think just overall, I think the concept in general is really cool. I think it would be a really, really good, like full length, of like repeatedly
seeing her
his
in
girlfriend
his
visiting him in his dreams, and then like what he does when he wakes up and how he doesn't remember them, and just kind of has to like deal with the fact that she committed suicide, and because he also, they say that he's not going to remember anything he hears in these dreams, so he's going to keep blaming himself even though she says not to. Like I think that would be a really cool concept for a full length show.
And like throughout the show, he finds out stuff in real life, and it affects his dream,
or starts remembering, or like just stuff like that. I think it would be a really, really cool idea. So this was definitely my favorite.
So to touch upon the points that you guys have covered. Again, cinematography in this was incredible. It's just black and white cinematography, and I feel like that definitely adds to it because you could play with more. Again, like the term is chiaroscuro, definitely pioneered by like Rembrandt and that sort of thing, where there's contrast between dark and light. There's some points where they're even actually silhouetted, sort of almost like literally like actual like stage silhouetting, or just to sort of like focus in more on exposition. I'd say the interesting parts are there's when the part when he finally just like, oh shit, she's dead. Like when he makes that realization, I feel there's that part when he sort of like faces away from her and it's very dark and it's almost kind of it's almost kind of symbolic of him not wanting to accept the reality of her own death. Which is why this whole sort of short is him sort of one reminiscing back on the times that they had in their relationship, and two, him or IU trying to allow him to, I guess, come to terms with the fact that she's dead, or the fact that it's not his fault. Like she definitely went into that monologue part where she's saying that it wasn't his fault specifically. It was the people that treated like the other people, that the way they treated her sort of made her feel that sort of way. And she also gave these like nice insights into like death, where at the beginning she's talking about like her sister like dying with her mouth open and everything, and like how when she jumped it wasn't instantaneous, and how she tried her hardest to like close her mouth because she wants to embrace death. She doesn't want to grasp for that last bit of life and that sort of thing, and that definitely ties into the monologue she has at the end. So this is one of the few things I definitely wrote down word for word. Or the translations went, dreams and death lead to nowhere. They will end up nowhere and eventually be forgotten. And I feel like that's definitely her way of trying to make him feel not guilty about it. Because definitely he like the character feels like so caught up in guilt in terms of one, wishing that they had more time together, and two, feeling like he could have done more. And yeah, I guess that's sort of the reality of it. There's such a fleeting nature to dreams and people dying that eventually just becomes a regular part of life that you forget. You kind of forget the significance of it. And and same thing with dreams, where it's very hard to remember dreams even after you wake up. Like sometimes I dream and I'm just like, what the hell was that? But I can't really remember exactly what it is. And that's, I guess, why it's the perfect setting for this is to sort of draw parallels between the fleeting natures of, I guess, life and dreams in that sort of way. And it did kind of end a bit abruptly with that monologue part, but I guess it ties into the, I guess, abrupt nature. Like when you're dreaming, sometimes you just snap awake or whatever. You're just like, what the hell was that? Or you're just left there thinking on it. So yeah, the cinematography was incredible with this. Definitely how they sort of revealed the story through this like slow exposition. And the violin score was definitely fitting for the somber nature of this entire short. So yeah, I'd say between this and Collector are some of the two standouts of all the shorts. I'm just in favor of Collector just because I love endings that fuck with you, or just like weird stuff like sci-fi horror almost stuff like that. Yeah, I'm just a big fan of mindfucks essentially. So I hope there's a season 2. I hope hopefully with IU again, because I really love. I've never watched anything with IU. In all honesty, I've never seen her act before. She's really good at it. She definitely holds her own. She's not just like a pretty face that they're trying to sort of get buzz and sales with. She definitely is a driving force in all of the shorts. So
yeah, I think she was a really good. I thought she was a really, really good. I guess avatar, so to speak, for like sort of expressing these characters.
Yeah. So, any closing thoughts?
Overall, I highly recommend this to anyone. Like even
definitely.
people who aren't into K-dramas. Like I think this is super cool, and it's really easy to get into too, because everything's so like you don't need to watch all of them, and they're so short. Like if you like short films, check it out. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Nate?
Yeah, I agree. I think it's worth it. I mean, it's only like an hour and a half long to watch all 4 of them, so it's not like it's a long commitment of a whole TV show or anything. But yeah, it definitely has its up and downs, but I think it's worth it overall to check it out. I thought IU was great in it.
Yeah, she definitely has won me over in terms of her acting chops. Again, I really hope that she can get more of this in. And I hope it's a success and that Netflix is more inclined to greenlight a second season.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just really impressed with the work we got here. Who knows? Maybe they'll do 4 new directors in terms of like who's in charge of each of the different shorts. But I think it's a really good idea. It's a really unique idea, and it screams IU in terms of like the type of project that it is. So definitely, if you watched it, let us know what your favorite short was, what your favorite, I guess, moment was of the entire Persona series. You can watch it on Netflix. I believe it's available everywhere. You said did you have to use a VPN to watch it in Korea? Or just curious, or
nope. There was only English subtitles available, so I got lucky.
yeah, that makes sense, I guess. But I mean, it's definitely available wherever you can watch Netflix. So yeah, hopefully we get more cool projects like this, and let us know what your thoughts are in the comments below.
Yep.
If we manage to get a KCON panel at KCON New York, I'm going to ask my dance teacher friend, DJ, to teach me the choreography to Jima, and I will perform it at our KCON panel. So if you want to see me do the choreography for this, tweet at KCON. Let them know that you want to see a Produce Cast panel at KCON New York.